So, yeah, that's no problem at all. So yeah, I want to make sure everyone, you can have your mics open. That's completely fine because I don't want you guys kind of be stuck, like muted, with a bunch of questions in your head or anything. So if you have a question, just ask. Just ask away. But what I have is I've got the replay codes to my left here on my phone. Now I wanted to ask what maps you guys wanted to go over because for some reason there's only 4, and I don't know if that's like a glitch or if they like stopped after the 4th map. In 2 hours? What? Holy VOD before the match. Jesus. That's insane. So, do you guys have a preference on what map you would like to go over? Because I am very happy to kind of go over any of them.
This one.
What I was looking into was just mostly the more relevant ones, just kind of the ones that are the closest, so it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, the ones that are like the closest that happened the most recently, or the closest in terms of skill.
The closest
Cool.
in terms of time, because I've obviously had
Yeah,
a
okay.
session with Rando, and I don't want to be going over things I've already gone over with him in his VOD.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But if you guys would prefer doing one from before Sunday, I'm more than happy to do that.
Before Sunday, I'm wondering if you can be the one on the 11th?
The 11th. That streams up so you guys can tune in.
Yeah, like, not last Tuesday, but the before one. The Tuesday before that one. When you were, like, expecting us for the first time, I think, with the Gibraltar and... Do those work still?
I will try.
Sure.
Let me see. We'll throw in Gibby in there. We'll do Gibby. Just to see if they work. 45, 3, 7, 3. Right. I will see if these codes work. I think we had a patch. I think it was last week. So it might not be. But let me. And my phone's gonna fall. That's great. Oh, they did work. Okay, cool. So we will look at a little bit of dive. I also need to put my glasses on. Unc needs his specs. So, as you see, I've got my lovely epic pen over here because I'm going to be drawing and trying to explain stuff. Because I kind of using words is one thing, but like actually being able to visually show you guys is a lot easier for me. So going into this, do you guys have any questions about dive compositions or anything? Or do you want to ask any questions about kind of the comp stuff before going into positioning?
We did have a VOD previously about Gibraltar, so it's kind of like... kind of known, but like...
Okay.
I mean, I think I'm actually the only one that is like knows Gib well.
Okay.
Kind of, so I'm just here for the ride, at least.
I mean, that's fair play.
I want to see your point of view, you know.
So, I love Gibby. This has been one of my favourite scrim maps for like over a year. And I die on the hill that this is like one of the best push maps. Like, I don't mind Circuit as a tank player, but it does get boring on Sig after like first point. But what we will do, we'll talk about dive. If it sounds repetitive, just say, oh, we've already kind of understand this, or we already know this, and I'll move on to something else. But what we will talk about here is just kind of how this comp works, how I would like you to use it on, since you're on defense here, we're talking about on a defensive standard, and kind of just be like, okay, this is what I'm expecting, this is what you can kind of do, these are some options. we will talk about. Have you guys talked much about the geographical like sense of the maps? It sounds weird, but you'll understand what I mean in a moment. So if I'm talking about the geography of a map, what does that mean to you guys? It's fine.
Would it be
if you
how
guys-
linear it is, or like?
Yeah. I mean, close. How I defer maps is I put them in two different categories. Are they a more 2D map, or are they a more 3D map? In the sense of these things, what you've got to think about is 3D maps are like Gib, for example. Now, this is quite perfect. You can see there's a lot of staircases, a lot of high grounds, a lot of areas that you can access. There's just a lot of high ground and different oriented places that you've got up here. You've got box here. You've got this entire bridge here, for example. There's a lot of different spots, and there's a lot of high ground where you have maps. Like if we think Suravasa, very very flat, very 2D map for the majority of it, because what you have a lot of the time is the point, a small section of high ground, and that's it. But when you compare it to something like Gibraltar here, there is high ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, car progress. Very, very different, and that is why you see the comp differences. When you go more towards the 3D maps, you will notice a lot more dive. Very, very simple. On 3D maps, you're going to see a lot of dive because you need to be able to access all those points and be able to actually, make plays onto them. Where on 2D maps, you'll see a lot more brawl and rush. Write that down. Because on 2D maps, you don't really have to think about, I have to walk up these stairs, or I have to try and jump up them, I have to cross across a bridge. You just kind of see, point, let me just run through it to the enemy team. There's not a lot of high ground that you have to manipulate to really work here. But on maps like Gibby here, you've got to think about, okay, you're going to have people go up here and set up on the high ground, your monkey can jump up here, your tracer can kind of wrap around this way. There's a high chat, sorry. If it lets me. Sorry. But how I see them is you have your 3D maps here where you are more leaning towards high ground state, and then 2D maps you have more of the kind of second degree low state. But what I do like is I'm seeing my brig's anchoring, my ash is already looking towards the bridge, this is okay. But what I want you to think about when it comes to your comp here is what is our win condition? Do we know what do we guys understand what our win condition is in this comp?
Pretty much unannayed.
Okay, cool. I'll just so I can ask the question, like it's not don't be ashamed if you don't know, but does everyone here understand what I mean when I use the term win condition? Is everyone clear on what that means? Because I'm happy to explain it. Don't be afraid. I'm happy to explain it. It doesn't make you any worse than the next person if you don't understand what one term means.
Is it like our first priority in the fight, or?
Isn't it like trying to use the enemy team's resources faster?
That's what we call bait. So when we talk about, I'll go over win condition, and then if you want, I can go over baiting. So a win condition, I'm probably spelling this wrong, but fuck it, we ball. So your win condition is the abilities that you have that can force a fight in your favor. Boom. And as I think Peak said, I think it was, I'm still getting used to voices, I'm very sorry. But as someone said absolutely brilliantly, your Ananade. Yes, you can kind of make plays with Dynamite, or your Tracer can kind of run up on someone and one-clip them. But when you're looking at making a dive, what is your Winston constantly calling? Can we nade high ground? Can we nade point? Can we nade Anna? They are saying, can we nade this? Can we nade that? And win conditions aren't just abilities. It can be your ultimate, for example. Those are other things. But I do like how you brought up baiting there, especially you, Sophie. Another key thing that you will notice in this dive comp is there is a lot that you have to bait. Whip, sleep and nade, bubble, TP, deflect. You're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun. But now that I've explained Dive a little bit, do you guys have any questions before I move on to the next section that I'm going to talk about? Okay, cool. I will move on to the next part where I'm going to talk a little bit about positioning. So do you guys understand how... So now we've talked about your win condition. Where do you think your Anna is going to want to set up in these scenarios?
In this case, since the plan was to look to net the possible TP,
Okay, brilliant.
then I'd argue that the Anna is in the right place.
Yeah, absolutely Anna's in the right place. The most important thing that I want you as the backline here, and I think we talked a little bit about this rando when we were watching over something, is that you two need to become attached. You need to be chained together. You literally need to become chained together. Because if one of you leaves the other one's going to die. There's another term that I would normally use for this, but because I'm recording, I'm going to refrain. But I do love how you guys you kind of thought ahead and were thinking, okay, they're going to look to either TP here or TP up here. We can set up our tracer below here on the staircase to either interact with either of these. Our monkeys back here to kind of look to just walk instead of having to jump over the high ground. And Ash is still here who can just kind of shoot anything coming across or can even look over there. But so far I love the setup. Like, this is completely fine. So, like, this is when it comes to expecting TP, I kind of just want Tracer a little bit closer to the stairs because I can't tell if you're on the outside or the inside. That's the only thing. I don't think Alpi's here. Let's see. Okay. Quite common. The only thing is I would much prefer him be a little bit closer. That's the only. Because at the end of the day, if you're the closer you are to a pack and the closer to you are to actually being able to interfere with things, the better. Because at the end of the day, if they TP here, you can shoot, and then you can go back around. Or if you're on the staircase, you can just go up, go towards your Winston, just back away, which is always helpful.
I think he was set up on the outside because if they would TP below, like, there would be 5 people looking at him instantly, I think.
That is fair enough. At the end of the day, Tracer is a very, very survive ability character. That's kind of why you lean towards either the Mega, because that is a second life, then with Recall, kind of a third life, if the second life, third life if you need to have it. And again, you can kind of just wrap around places, you can just leave the exact same way. But as long as you're able to see the TP there, and you can still act if this TP goes off, so your Winston isn't just going in alone, I think you should be fine for the most part. Because no matter how much healing a Bringer Anna can output, if there's 5 people on a TP, your Winston's going to explode at the end of the day. But what we are going to do is put this little doohickey on, get a better camera angle. This is a bit poo. And I'm going to see how the fight goes and just kind of drop my notes at the end of the fight. Nice. So, the first thing that caught my eye in the end was one thing, Sophie, from you that I want to ask a question of is, when you throw your nades, do you just throw them or do you do a countdown? Like you go nading 3, 2, 1, or do you just kind of chuck it?
Oh. In a way, both, I think, because I do counter sometimes.
Okay.
I think Sophia does the most 3-2-1s in our team, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a very important thing to do as an AND player, Because especially when it comes to coordinating between your Winston and potentially if you were running dual flex DPS, a Genji, because what you have to think about is timing the anti with the rest of your team swinging out is one of the most important things for just burst damage. Because what you got to think about is the anti and splash and insta damage of the nade, dash damage potentially from Genji, and the damage from Winston. If they're on a Kiriko and you can just insta explode, they can't Suzu in time. No one's got the reaction time of that unless they're AI. But I'm very glad to hear that you do 3-2-1 it. That's one thing I also want to get you on peak when jumping in. It's just kind of jumping, and that can be a location or a person, but just always let your team know where you're going. So they can understand, okay, my tank's going here, maybe I need to swing out a little more, maybe if they want to go backwards a little bit, I need to start walking backwards so I'm in a safer position. It allows your team enough time to react and allow them to assess what they can do to assist you, or when you just say it, they can say, don't go there, don't go there. And then it means that you also are listening to your team and not feeding at the same time, which is very helpful. Because your supports will, in my experience, they will scream at you if they will scream at you if you're going into a bad position, which is very helpful because sometimes you do need it. But,
Indeed.
But so far in that fight, it was quite clean. The TP we saw come out, nade went through, Uppy came up, you walked around, you started shooting. The only thing that I like, the other thing is just kind of these two of like you've broken the chain, if you know what I mean. Like if I had the rubber, fuck, it's not what I wanted. Ah well, but you have unfortunately broken the chain in this example. So that means that your Ana is vulnerable and also your Brig is vulnerable at the same time. Because again, once they're split, they are much more manageable to kill. Any questions before I move on?
In that situation, if Randa goes like there, am I supposed to chase him? Or just like stay there because you can like break the chain?
I think in this scenario, as long as Rando is going to remain in your LOS and you're in the safety of this box, you can be fine. I do see what Rando is trying to do is just kind of kicking him away. But at the end of the day, I'd rather keep my backline alive than have the chance of killing a Winston. But unless you are trying to swing around to heal the Winston, where I would just say, just kind of go towards the bridge and then just LOS him. But what you got to think about is, in this duel, more towards you, Rando, in this duel, you will lose sometimes. You're not going to win every single time just because that your ability is just, I smack things, I heal. It is a bit fucked.
Yeah, I know I'm a former Winston OTP. I've gone through that scenario from the other side.
Sorry, something just smacked around my room. Not around my room, around the house. But, yeah, just quite a simple. Make sure you two stick together. Make sure everyone is listening for these nades and for the jumps and that. And I think this was a pretty successful fight from you guys. Anyway. I think this might be better. Yeah, it's better. You kind of just clean out. Now this is where I'm like, holy hell, how did you get over here? And my Ana is still over here. This is like, whoa! Like, that's terrifying. Like, if any of the team was still alive, your Ana would be dead. Or you would be dead, because you're deeper and you're closer to enemy spawn. Just kind of be aware of, like, this is where my Ana is, this is where I am. Am I too far away? If the answer is yes, go back. But you guys clean them out. One concept I did need to go over with you guys. Do you guys know what staggering is?
Yep.
What? Hello. Does anyone need an explanation of what stagger means? again, no shame. No shame at all.
I hope not.
I think I'll quickly just kind of be like, so staggering is when either you or the enemy dies at a much longer time frame from the rest of the team. So let's say dead, and the brig lives for an extra like 12 seconds. That's an extra. If you think about it, that's about another negative. That's at least another negative 12 immediately from the count, as well as the walk back from spawn, as well as will be the walk back from spawn, as well as the enemy team having to stand around and wait for them to respawn, which means that you're just kind of ticking down their clock little by little. So what you do is you kind of kill the rest of the team, leave one of them alive, make sure that they can't, for like a diva, for example, they don't build mech and squash 3 of you. God forbid. Oh, WCS. And just you wait until a lot of the enemy team have respawned, kill them as quick as possible, and then just set yourselves back up, because they can't go in for a 4v5. They have to wait for one of their members to come back, which means that you get more time to think about a fight plan and get your defense ready, as well as annoying them and making them spend longer trying to reach the point. Any questions before we continue?
Sorry for interrupting. It might not be always allowed in scrims, like staggering.
Yeah, in some scrims they normally don't. So in some, it depends on the team, because normally if they're a scrim team, they're kind of like, we'd want to avoid it. But then teams that are like preparing for tournaments or for like Face It or something, they normally like, yeah, staggers are on. When it comes to knowing if you can stagger, it will normally come up in the info.
Yeah, we didn't have staggers on for that game. Or we had them off. Yeah, we had them off. It was the
PL...
not that one. It was
Oh, Spectral, here we go. Yeah, staggers off.
that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Bro, no one does staggers anymore. What the hell?
Yeah, we pretty much had, I think, only one scrim that had staggers.
That's crazy. And hero bands. That's weird. Oh, hello. I'm watching Peak now. But that's just a little educational thing on staggering. I mean, if you guys need me to, I'm happy to write down terms with more, like... I mean, just write them down in a better term, for like a little dictionary. But, are there any other questions? In that case, I will continue watching. Please tell me we have noticed the tracer walking the objective. Okay, I'm assuming RP has noticed, which is nice. I'm going to just quickly move my camera, because now it's more relevant over here. Kind of hard to defer them, but we cannot complain. Okay, the monkey jumps up. I believe you did go for the whip there. I think you hit it.
I think so.
Just want to see. Okay. I do see the attempt. You know when we talked about angling with our boots in our 1-on-1 VOD? You can do a similar thing with Brig. Like, the only thing you've got to do is just kind of angle your camera slightly and then whip. As well as you don't want to whip the Winston at the peak of the arch. So if I use the pen example, let me come out of this and just kind of use the actual area as like the best method. So what happens is Winston jump is, like most trajectories, a nice big arch, which has a peak, and obviously it has its fine line. When it came to this, I believe we jumped from about down here, and he went whoop, and then landed here. Now you want to ideally start hitting him in about this range, because kind of past here is a bit too late, he's kind of already on the ground, and at this height, when you do whip him, which you did notice when you whipped him there, he's able to just easily kind of shift his body more towards the bridge, making the jump a bit more recoverable. And what happens a lot of the time, this is something that I will end up teaching Peek and Winston if it comes to it, and that is angling jumps, so then it's awkward for them to whip you off of a ledge. And what happened was, I'm going to use yellow as an example, just kind of highlight there, is that your whip hit about here when he started hitting the kind of downward of it, and he was able to just kind of go and just lean himself back in, so then he landed perfectly fine. We'll watch it from back here, so then you can kind of see what I mean. So you see jump up, there's the whip, and as you can see, he's able to just shift his body and his momentum to just, instead of, if he got whipped, which would have been more like this, instead he went like this. That's a bit shit. There's the whip, and he just shifted his recovery and was able to land on the bridge. So this is why you lean towards when he's kind of a bit lower. So then he cannot use his momentum of kind of on the arch to recover his position.
Yeah.
But cool. I'm gonna continue. Sorry, that was a small waffle, but it's quite important to play.
Yeah, from playing the Winston, if I'm jumping on a brick, like I try to jump like that, I will be flying like straight on top of the brick, because if she whips me, then I'll just stay a bit longer in the air,
Yeah, exactly.
and usually land on them.
And it means that you can like angle your like damage from the jump as well, just straight on top of her. Which means you can kind of chip down some of the armor, so then you kind of just burn through a lot more of the health. And I need to just double check if I'm lagging in Discord, because I don't know if it's just me, but you guys keep like lagging.
No, you sound pretty fine.
I don't know, it's just kind of you guys go in and out a little bit, but I'll kind of just continue and see if it becomes a recurring issue. But we shall continue from here. Challenge the monkey, that's what I like to see. They kind of just waste it. Genji goes in, I would like to. You can chase. You go away, this is fine. Monkey jumps up. The one thing I want you guys to realize about Winston is that without his bubble, he's a bit useless. Because he can't tank that much. At the end of the day, he's a big hitbox with a little bit of armor and a large majority of health. If he didn't need the bubble, it wouldn't be a part of his kit at the end of the day. What he's done here is a near suicide mission in its finest. He has no armor, he's got no bubble, he's used his only resource, which is jump, and it's just decided to jump in the middle of an Ana break. Maybe it's to secure Haga, but at least you will be able to trade him out here, as long as you play your cooldowns correctly. I want to see how this happens. Really good coach gun. And look, it was as simple as he jumped up, he had no bubble, he couldn't sit here, because if he had bubble, he would walk forward, bubble, and then chase you out, with his Genji backing him up. But because he had no bubble, he jumped up, you guys walked backwards, he was low, and he was forced to drop. Why are you... And he was forced to drop, and now he's literally got no HP, his Genji's straight looking at an Ashe and an Ana, and your Winston's there to back you up. Any questions? I will continue. Ooh, unlucky. Very unlucky. There was not a lot you could do there. The Genji just obviously, with the presets and that, it's very easy for it to kind of go in and out. Really good shots from Haga there. The most important thing I would kind of say is making sure that obviously if you do need the care, you are in the brig LOS. So if you kind of stand in this area here, your brig can't see you, you're gonna die. But I think the way that you're like kind of jumping back anyways and react to the Genji coming, the brig will be able to save you and you should be fine. I believe you...
I mean, in my...
Is that Coach Gun? I think that's Coach Gun.
It is a coach gun, I think. We're about to see.
In my opinion, the NS death on that situation wasn't me since I left the island to try to back out Tracer.
Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's happened. There's not much you can do. Obviously, like I've said, kind of try and be a little closer, because at the end of the day, you protect each other, you keep each other healthy. That's kind of the main gist of that, of these two being played together. Because if you play it right, you can never die. You just never die. But again, we look, we learn, and we move on. I'm going to glitch into the rock. Can we see Winston from here? Yes, we can. See, you get packed there. I don't think Peak should live. Peak goes down. So we see Winston's dead on our team. What do we think now? What should be our first instinct when we've seen that our tank is down?
Reset.
Absolutely. Brilliant. If I could give like sweets away, I'd give you one, Haga. There you go. Unfortunately, I can't really do that electronically. But the moment that we're seeing our main source of dive down, we got to think we've lost our ability to dive in because we've lost our tank. We need to reset and think, okay, what can we do next fight? This is leaning more towards the fight plan stuff. So reset, think, okay, what are they going to have? For example, they have a Nano and Winston coming up potentially. We have also very close to Nano, and we have our Winston coming up as well. We have to think between each fight, okay, we've reset, we've got to talk about what we can do, how we want to do it, and then try and execute. I do think I have the document that I'm going to send as the coaching thing once I get the role. So I might have to message Volance for that. But we will see. But yeah, the one thing I want you guys to understand is that kind of when anyone's kind of dead, you've got to think, okay, we need to reset, or we need to not stagger, mentioned before, and just kind of go in and die quick. I think the way that you can judge it is how dangerous your situation is. So a Genji in a 1v3 is not very dangerous, especially if a Winston's going to try and jump here. You guys have plenty of time to either like coach gun away, run away, blink away. And you've got to think about the cart. So for example, if the cart was like here, it's going to very poorly shaped. That's like a car now. Oh well, same thing. But if the cart was here, you have to think, okay, do we stall or do we give them the point and try and set up the second point? But we will build those habits. But I think for the main part, you've got to think, okay, we're down our tank. We need to reset. What do we do in the next fight? Or if you're feeling like it, try and kill this guy before you leave. 100% for you, Brig, I would like you to back up. RP can definitely go in due to the fact that he's going to have blinks and recall and he can get out very easily. Haga, you have natural range. I would like to see you kind of just kite back towards, I think it's a forklift. God, it's like I played the game. I would like to see you back up towards the forklift and just kind of stay at a distance where your supports will be able to see and heal you, and you still have a lot of line of sights that you can work with at the end of the day, because you can see any rotations there, you can see if anyone's poking around there, you can see what's coming from there, you can see up here, you can see up here, and you can still remain in a location that's going to be safe for you, while your tank is trying to come back, as well as you can help with your Ana if they do come after you, farm Nano for example. Any questions? I sound like a broken record.
No questions.
Okay, we will continue. I respect you taking the kill here. I do love how you took the kill here. This is a nice exit pick, which now, in a sense, makes the playing field a little more even. because their Genji has just died, so their bar is significantly lower than our bar. Our Winston's going to get back before their Genji, so now we can be the aggressors, because at the same time our Winston comes back, it will still be a 5v4 in our terms. So while we have the advantage, let's try and push them back and set ourselves up for a winning defense. Because at the end of the day, kills, ults used, don't fucking matter. This is the important thing. The whole thing is you have to stop the payload. The most important thing is that you stop this, and in the process, try and kill something. So, for this next point here, I'm going to go over kind of what I would like to see as a setup, for example. So, I could see a nice Winston here, kind of your Ashe sitting up here. Actually, I'll go to a better perspective. Sorry, it's a bit of a shit one. Oh, that's a lot better. I think there's a lunatic in my house screaming. So your Winston's going to set up here, because essentially you are just trying to become a nice wall that they have to kind of push through to even access the objective and try and cap. While you're able to sustain and stay there, your Brig and Anna are allowed to kind of stay over here and kind of dip in and out of this doorway, so that they can't just get immediately dove, because look at the amount that the enemy team are going to have to stretch to reach them. And they can just back away if need to, drop and play forklift. And your Ashe can actually kind of play with them. Because if someone does come from the server room, because you are able to go from up and around this way and try and reach them, you're going to see them from miles away. And you're able just to retreat back, like I mentioned before. So I would like to see a Winston, BAA, and then your Tracer can be a little bit more creative. I traditionally see kind of Tracers, they will always try and be looking for some flanks or something. I kind of see Tracers setting up here, seeing what the enemy do, and then they will normally just kind of push up here and kind of shoot anything sat on this high ground to my left. Because from there, you kind of have your Winston sits up here. If your Anna nades anything here or on point, your Tracer is either already up here shooting and can drop, or they're already shooting something that has been naded, and that is accessible. Because if your Tracer is going to sit either there, either sit here, or, which is a bit more risky in my opinion, you can tend to set them up over here. The only problem is you have to think about your support LOS. Because if your Anna is set up here, you've got to think at the end of the day, okay, if my Tracer's here and they wrap around here to go onto this high ground, you can have your red zone where you cannot be cared. And that's the same for anything. Even if your Tracer's here, until they reach here, nice little bit of cheeky red zone. But the thing is, if your Tracer is set up here, if they want to run away, they either have to take a really long route this way and risk being caught out by the enemy Tracer, or they have to walk across the main choke with everything able to visually see and shoot at them instantaneously without having to use blinks. If you use blinks, it's a bit more survivable, but it's also using, I would say that's about 2 to 3 blinks automatically, just trying to cross it without taking damage. But in summary, I'd like to see a Tracer, Winston, and then up here is kind of the Brig, Anna. It's nice and simple. You can see a lot of the stuff. Your Winston can kind of go wherever they want. Tracer can kind of go wherever they want. Ashe can see everything, and Brig and Anna are in a nice, safe position where they cannot be threatened. Whew. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Cool.
I gotta dip for a moment. Gotta walk the dog. I'll be right back.
All good. Again, this is being recorded and everything, so it will be uploaded to YouTube by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue. So going into this fight, Arash sets up here, just kind of shooting at what they can. The only problem is you're going to get poked out a lot, and the Winston is able to kind of come and jump after you. The important thing that you would have noticed there is the fact of, because you set up here, the Winston, if they wanted to do anything to actually like take you or kind of force you, they had to use both their coach gun and their bubble just to force you to hit S key and drop down. You can still have your dynamite, and you can still be in a safe position where if your Anna and Brig are up here, they still see absolutely everything, can still care you, and then you can always kind of wrap around here. Sorry, wrong colour. You can then wrap, like if you drop down, you can then wrap back here and then coach gun back up here and play in the position that I talked about before. But the most important thing that I want you to take from that is the fact of, just because of you existing on this high ground, the enemy Winston had to take action using both of his key abilities, which is absolutely amazing bait. Absolutely amazing bait.
Yeah, I think it's really good because of the boxes on top. They can't really push since my entire team is pretty much in the... Like, they just pretty much see everything.
Oh,
And
exactly.
for the enemy to do anything, they have to get invasion of my team, and yeah, so...
Exactly. I mean, now, before they could have, because obviously they were up there Winston, you were down your Winston. I feel like they could have probably pushed you out with just kind of the Brig and Anna. I think the Brig is falling. They fuck up the parkour. I can't tell what's going on. But, like, just at the end, your presence there forcing both monkey, like, abilities, absolutely amazing. And now that your Winston's going to be able to hold this position, you don't have to put yourself at such a vulnerable spot, because now the Anna and Brig are up there, where your Winston can, and you can just be like, okay, I'm just going to stand back and just shoot Anna in the other eye and make her blind. I have no clue how to pronounce your coach's name, sorry. That is...
Ewint.
Ewin.
Like Ewint.
Do you have anything you want to add in, Ewin? I'm not a hit scan specialist by any means, so if there's anything you can add in here that would kind of open up any new eyes to Haga, be more than happy.
I'm not even sure if he's here at the moment. It's fine.
Okay, we'll just
It's fine.
we'll just continue. I do love the idea of the jump, but purely from... Where's your Anna? Oh, maybe it was a bit more coordinated. The one thing I want you to think about the most here, Peak, is what can my Anna see? So we are literally going to go into Anna's mind. So let's see. This is blocking stuff. This building is blocking stuff. This is blocking stuff. And that might block stuff. You got to think about, this is like, oh, they have no more colours? Come on. Oh, I need a green. But you got to think about, this is the area where my healer can see me. And if I walk outside of those zones, it can spell a lot of danger for me. To be fair to you, this is not the optimal position. Again, I'm hoping to see you guys in your next scrim setting up Brig Anna up here, and then experimenting with that, because then that means your Winston can go up here, your Winston can go here, your Winston can go here, your Winston can sit on point. There's a lot more opportunities for your Winston to set up, and they don't have to play as safe as they normally would have to. But just so you actively start thinking about it, because it was one thing that I missed a lot when I was starting out as tank, which is always think about, okay, my support can only really see this. If I walk out of that, my support cannot see me, and they cannot help me. At that point, you are on your own. You are your own fight. So I want you to make sure that when you're planning on going in or anything, you just kind of think, if I do this, can I live? And can my support help me? And can my team help me? And if you answer no to any of those, you need to rethink and reevaluate the plan and think about something else. Because 1v5 is never a fun time. Unless you're, like, Overwatch 1 Nanoblade. God, that shit was OP. RIP the homie. I guess for now. But now you see, because he got slapped up there, your supports weren't able to help. However, one thing I want to get you into a habit of, I know it's a bit annoying, especially as Ashe in this example, but imagine if you're on Genji here, just absolutely try and explode this bubble as quick as possible. This is just a habit I want to get you in for the future. I mean, your coach might agree, your coach might not agree, but it's purely the fact of, if you want to stay up here, this bubble cannot exist. Because the moment that you try and step anywhere close to it, the Winston has cover to shoot at you, and yet if you go into it, you have no cover and you have no care at the same time.
Oh fuck, I'm muted. I usually shoot like any type of shield a lot, like Sigma shield, bubbles, Reinhardt, whatever. I shoot them a lot. At the moment, I'm probably not shooting the shield because my tank dropped down and I'm in a vulnerable position, and I don't want to like take a whole lot of spotlight on myself.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because the monkey is down, there is really no point in shooting the shield at the moment.
Yeah, I think the most important, I think the best thing you can do here is kind of like shoot 2 bullets, drop down, try and shoot anything, and try and like poke at them and just live.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the hindsight, I probably should have been where the Ana should have been, on the high ground at the moment. But actually, it's this kind of dangerous because I guess I wouldn't get any kills.
Because I remember watching you guys play this, and you all were like, we don't actually know where to play, we don't know what we're supposed to do. Like, you know the comp, but you don't know how to execute. So if you want, I will happily spend some time going between the different spots, and I will draw like the letters. Like for example, in this one, I'll put a W there, a T there, and then the BAA here, and I'll take a much better screenshot, and then I can kind of compile them into a file, and then put that somewhere if that works better for you guys. So then you kind of have an active like storyboard to look at if you need to pull to it. But I think through practicing that, it should be much better, so then you don't really need them. But I think that's kind of all we need to cover for the first point. Let's just kind of see how the fight goes and see what we can pick up on. Nice nano monkey. Valley comes out, Bob comes out. Whoa! We've just used 5 ults. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I kind of want to see what happened, because it seems like we all panicked when we saw the nano monkey, and just all had different little fight plans in our minds. So we'll kind of go from I'm gonna go down the list of players here. So we're gonna go from Violet, from Psychopath.
You're called out. Get in there.
Winston jumps up. You're like, okay. Well, Winston's going in. Do any of you guys remember if this nano monkey was called or just kind of thrown in?
It was called. I said I have nano up, and then Becca was like, okay, nano monkey, and I was like, okay, and then he was like calling that when he was jumping, and I would give him nano.
Okay. Just for this like specific nano here, he's going to like really struggle getting value out of it, because he's used his primary reach ability to jump up here to shoot a what was near full health monkey who's going to have kind of most of his key abilities. So it would have been a bit difficult to do a lot. I mean, we could talk about like when to the monkey and when to go on and who to go on, but I think in this scenario it's a bit like, okay, it feels like it's a bit wasted because you're just shooting the other tank when you could have done that for free. Because when you're nano monkey, you're wanting to go on to something that's a bit squishier. You want to go on the break to force rally, for example, or you want to go on the Ana before she can nano the monkey, or you can chase the Genji if he has no dash. But he's going to exponentially struggle to find value. Sorry.
I have like a few thoughts on this. Because we're on defense, isn't it like better to use our ults a little bit more reactively rather than proactively? We don't really need to force fights, we just need to like stall for time.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, the nano wasn't
reacting
used at a point where he was engaging the proper target, but yeah, I mean, exactly. It would have been perhaps better on me because the Genji is kind of jumping on me if it was used a little bit later. Because I pretty much instantly die and I bop because it's a little bit of a panic bop. I know I'm going to die, I just want to get value out of my death.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
before my death.
So when you talk about reactive ult in this example, we're not really reacting to anything. We are the ones pushing this. For the sake of
Yeah, but I don't think that we should be.
Oh yeah.
Since it's on.
Because that's what
it's defense.
when I'm leaning towards when we're going to struggle to get value. This is kind of like we've nanoed as an engage. Sometimes on defense I can understand it, especially if you want to like just kill the Ana before she can get a nano off. Like if she's at like 95%, you're like, the Ana's really close to nano. Can we nano monkey and just kill her so she doesn't get nano off? Then I can understand it. But a common thing that can happen a lot is like nanoing your brig or something and just raid bossing. That is unironically a actual thing that teams have done before to just keep the backline alive. Because then you kind of rotate your nano onto your brig stays alive and heals, and then when your nano is down and your team needs to sustain more, then you keep rally going.
Also maybe like if the Genji solo's, he doesn't get nano, also nanoing the target that he goes on might be decent.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get the kill, he doesn't really get a reset, so it's kind of hard for him to do anything.
I think it depends. If they're going to invest in nano blade,
then it's not worth it because he just goes through it.
It's going to go straight through, and it's just going to go on anyone who isn't caught on the nano. I mean, if he's just going to dry blade, I would say don't invest your nano into it. I would suggest kind of going with your rally and playing just to kill the Genji, to not live through the blade. There's like different ways to react to something. So we're going to do a hypothetical here. We're going to say Genji dashes up, and then comes nano blade. Our reaction is going to be: do we want to invest? What do you guys think? Would you want to invest anything into a nano blade in this scenario? Let's say
very good, probably.
We'll say we still have nano here. Like in this example, we still have nano.
Sure.
God, it looks so shit. Oh god. But if in this example, would we see any value in trying and fight it, or do you guys think we have the abilities to fight it? I think in this position and in this circumstance, even with nano in hand, I would say that absolutely don't invest anything and run away. Because the Genji's going to be able to reach our Ashe. The Genji's going to reach our Ashe before they can build Bob, and they're going to be the first dead. Unless we pop rally and live. But I don't feel like it's worth it. Because he will just burn through it a lot. I think the best thing you can do is everyone individually needs to run away. Everyone needs to just run, try and sustain, and then touch with Nano Monkey. Or even just use the Bob. Because what happens here is we go in with an initiative on something that isn't actually going to do much, and we leave ourselves open to stuff like this, as well as we leave ourselves in these positions, because again this chain's broken, where we just are going to never be able to live any like attack they throw at us. But I think when you are in the fight plan, you've got to think they have Nano Blade here. You got to think, can we fight it? Not really. What do we do? Do we focus the Ana first and try and remove the Nano from the equation? Because if they just Dry Blade, we can fight that with Rally, for example. But if we can't reach the Ana, who can we reach? Genji. Genji isn't going to blade at half HP, for example. And if the Ana's too focused healing the Genji to try and look for a Nano Blade, or if they just throw the Nano, then cool, we've just forced the Nano and the Genji's going to Panic Blade, trying to find some value. by that time we can have whip, try and keep them away. We could have coach gun and get away. We could have sleep and maybe hit a nasty sleep dart, for example. But it's just thinking about it in the forward of being like, okay, if they nanoblade, we have this. If they, like in the fight plan, you can think, okay, if they nanoblade, we could use this, or if they have nanoblade, run away, or just kite. Just think if they nanoblade, kite, for example. Sorry, that was a much longer like waffle than I expected it to be.
What needs is wit.
Now we see then Nanomonkey come out. I like how I've been talking about Nanoblade. Don't even have fucking blade. What am I doing? But in this example,
It's a hypothetical. It's a good hypothetical.
it's a good hypothetical. Sorry, but in this example, we've already seen. Okay, we know Nanomonkeys come out from there. These two can sustain it 100%. What we need to do is not overreact. We just need to not overreact it. We need to trust that our Monkey and Tracer are able to kind of fend. Because we know we have Primal, we know we have Recall. Our supports can take 2 seconds and just breathe. Because in steps it would be Monkey jumps in, go to sleep from Sophie. As the tank, you should be able to read the fact that a Nanomonkey is just starting to tear up your backline. And you have to think, I still have Nano, I have Primal, I can live, I need to just trust my supports are going to be fine. You random, you need to be closer to this Anna again. I think, I don't need to keep saying it, but I'm just going to make sure that it is like prominent that I'm going to, like that you do need to be with your Anna.
Of course.
Because one thing that you can have a lot of the time is you can just help your Anna live by either smacking him with whip or just your normal auto. I don't know why I'm calling it auto. This is not League of Legends. And then if the monkey becomes a problem and starts to primal, you can then throw your rally in and just stop it. Because in an example like this, where if they are using nano primal, if we use nano rally, I don't hate it. It sucks a little bit because they're still gonna have blade, but I'd rather have my backline alive because they used rally than not having one and the next fight having them delayed and they just blade us instantly and we lose the fight and they get cap. But let's see. Do you turn around? And it does kind of seem like, okay, Pico went in, primaled, starting to smack things, that's fine. I'm going to assume this is a fat finger. That's my assumption, so I'm going to kind of ignore that one. The bob to touch here, I think if you're going to, if we communicate that we're going to use these two ults, you probably wouldn't have used it anyway, because you could have thought, okay, we might need Bob for second point.
I was getting like dashed by the Genji.
Yeah.
Like I am like it was a split second decision. I felt like it is probably better to use it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
I think it's a mixed thing of we needed to probably rally a little bit earlier to keep my Ashe alive if we were going to kind of look after them like we kind of seemed like we were doing. We even needed to rally earlier and keep our Ashe alive so we don't have to throw our ult into the car that no one's near. Or we needed to save the rally and just throw Bob and then play around the Bob. Because one thing that teams have done on this map a lot of the time is we'll get around the corner, they'll throw Bob at one point, and then they'll start attacking the major areas where Bob can see. And the one thing about Ashe, which I don't doubt that you know it, but obviously whoever you shoot gets prioritized by Bob.
I actually didn't know that.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a weird
I stopped playing this hero a while ago.
It's a weird thing that they brought in, but it makes a lot of sense. Whoever you're shooting at, Bob shoots at. It kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Same thing with Torb.
Exactly.
Insane, okay.
Bro, the ball knowledge on this team is mental. Oh my god, we're not even 5 minutes in. I need to.
Okay, can we do something? Can we just look like we go 5 seconds before, and I wanna see something.
What would you say?
The Brigwood. I don't know if Random knows this, but I think Brigwood resets your dash. So if you wanna get somewhere, you can like dash first and then like Brigwood,
I don't.
which would allow you to get to the. It does. I'm pretty sure it resets it, like the dash. So yeah, this one. Like when you rally, it resets. I'm pretty sure.
I think the main thing for you there is just you could have used your packs. That's like the key thing I noticed is yeah you've rallied, but you also need to pack your Ash because I think like I do think you could have saved Haga there personally. I go back.
Think I was slow to react.
It is very common when there's a lot going on. It is so easy to get overstimulated. It's so easy to get overstimulated. Even I've had it on time and oh, never mind. No, that was like frame perfect dash from their Genji. I can't even be mad at that. Damn. But yeah.
I think a little earlier I could have gotten a steam pack, but
I think
it's fine.
I feel like the moment that you kind of see your Ashes half and they're kind of pushing in, I would say just pop that. Just pop it and just like help your team sustain. Were we still fight planning in this? Because this was kind of before I had like, I think it was the next scrim that I was saying, oh, make sure we have a fight plan. Make sure that we were all very like understanding of what we want to do in the next fight, for example. Because I couldn't tell if there wasn't a fight plan. We just kind of said, oh, Nano Monkey. Haga had the idea of, okay, we need to keep point up. Let me bob. Fat Finger and Rando was just kind of like, oh, I need to keep my team alive. Let me pop rally. I kind of feel like if that's the case, that's like okay, that's just something you guys didn't know beforehand. I do love that you did. Pulse comes out. You're gonna keep Rando alive. I want to go look at peak here and see what. What the fuck?
I was panicking at this point. I was like screaming on top of my lungs the whole entire time.
I don't blame you. That monkey just like was chasing you. Holy! Did you have a warrant for your arrest? Fuck me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were held. I remember that I snapped a little bit. You were held. There were other people looking at the monkey who was low HP.
So,
Looks bad, but
oh my
you
God.
weren't in any real danger, in my opinion.
No matter what, like you know what, just as like a team thing, just so like we can leave this as it is. We're gonna watch that for we're at 5 minutes of 7. We're gonna go back and we're gonna watch it from Sophie's POV, and then we'll see how terrifying it looks. So I've played support and I've played support in comp recently, and it's hell. Like watch this, and then I'll jump at you, fighting with your best, running away, you get the hold. The monkey's still chasing you, still chasing you. Okay, going around, staring, either chasing you. Business chasing you. Finally go down. Imagine the amount of adrenaline, fear, and panic that you would have in that scenario.
It's so beautiful, even though it's so snowy.
Even though it like looks, oh, the Winston was just kind of doing nothing and he was standing there and he was getting shot. That doesn't matter when you're in a pure moment of panic, like absolute pure panic. So I don't blame Sophie at all. I feel like the one thing I want to avoid is people like snapping at each other.
I'm actually tight in the snow.
I think let this sit to where it was, and we'll kind of leave it for now. But if stuff is a reoccurring theme, I will talk to individuals, and I will be sorting them out myself. Because I want a friendly community where people aren't going to get snappy with each other, not going to yell at each other. It should be friendly. You should be happy here. You shouldn't be afraid to come to scrims or anything because someone's here and that person's there. Don't
Where to go?
I'll leave that there. Just to make sure that was kind of well known.
Careful. If it's
Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. You can see up there. Your Winston's here. This is all the positioning I mentioned, I think, about, like, 10 minutes ago. I don't know how long we've been at this already, but this is the exact positioning I talked about, apart from RPGs on the left rather than the right. Absolutely brilliant.
In about 3 seconds, you can see me getting greedy and getting punished.
Oh my god, you have just
3, 2.
you have done the kid in the bull pit meme. Oh my god. You're like Sheldon. You guys watch Big Bang Theory? Or is that a very British show? And I'm just stupid.
Yeah, I watch it.
This is like, you know, in the bull pit where he's just yelling Bazinga and dipping in and out? This is what he's doing. And he's about to get ragged out. That's literally what's about to happen. But the only thing I can really say is, remember the LOS thing I was talking about? That's a key factor, because now you can see, they can see kind of this, and that's it. The one thing I want you to think, Peak, is I want you to value your life. No, this is not therapy, this is numbers. Because, oh boy, do I love numbers. In the world of this, you got to think about their spawns here, our spawns way over there, way off the screen. Their life here is a lot less valuable. Your life, a lot more valuable, because you're going to spend more time getting back, and you do more. You've got to think about your value here, because you die in here. Yeah, you may have killed the brig. The brig's going to get back. They might have even gotten wave. The brig's going to get back before you. Your team's going to have no tank, and they're going to struggle to defend, because now there's no ult. I mean, with no ults on the board, but they also have no tank to actually sit on the point and just be a sandbag for the enemy team to abuse. I'm hoping to get this full map done by 9 o'clock. We've got another hour, but it feels like we've been at this already for an hour, I think. Oh god, and we're only in 5 minutes. You can see the Genji's already thinking about going up there. The one thing I want you guys to also consider about is body language. We got to think about, okay, why was the Genji... We got to think about why have they dropped a low ground here? Why is the Ana positioning herself here? Why is the monkey positioning himself like we're going to jump up here? Why is someone looking somewhere? Because there's a lot that you can tell from someone by simply looking at where they're looking. So, like, for example, if the Genji is, like, over here and they're staring at your Ashe, you can think, well, I think it's pretty clear they're going to try and fuck my Ashe. So you just simply think, okay, just set my Ashe back a little bit. They can still see a lot. The Genji can't see them. Boom. But you got to think, if the Ana is looking up here, you can think, oh, they're going to try and throw a nade up here. Cool, let me just swing over here and play a little safe where the Ana can't see me. Boom, problem solved.
Morning. Bye. The stars will remain.
Unlucky after goes down. Again, your positioning up here is completely fine. There comes the blade. You get the monkey trace, huge. You kill the Genji. C9!
Huh?
My Sheila.
Oh.
Unlucky.
During the tournament, I really like that.
That was unfortunate. You guys really handled the Genji blade really well. Peak, just if there are people in there and we kind of hear them through your mic, do you mind muting? Really sorry to ask.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm sorry for having to make you mute. It's just I want to make sure that everyone can hear me and that's all. But you guys handled the blade, like, you saw them blade, you didn't panic, you just backed up. He went in, and you all just went, alright, we're just going to turn around and shoot the blade in Genji. Brrr, dead. I love how you reacted to that. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Pika goes in. Nice. Obviously, we still know the traces here. Unfortunately, I feel like you go, with this scenario, you've gotten out of, when they have capped, you got to think, okay, their spawn is now directly here. Is it safe for us to be in these really close positions where their spawn is right there and they're really close? Not really. So now you've got to think, okay, we need to stop backing up. yes, we've got the trade here, but we've also just kind of traded one of ourselves, and due to the fact of they're all going to be grouped up here, and they're going to want to push now, it means that we don't have enough time to set up a defense, stop the cart, and deny them space at the same time. Because the one thing I want you guys to start thinking about is just, okay, how do we want to set it up so they can't do anything. Pika, if you're still watching, here's a little gremlin spot that I like. It's just here. I love this spot because everyone crosses across. Everyone has to cross like this if they want any hope of trying to attack this point without just sitting on cart. Because if they want to reach the spaceship, they have to go through this long stretch and into the small room. So one thing that I like to do on Winston is I will set myself up here. When they start crossing, I will peek around, I will jump up. If they boot me, I'll go up, and then I'll come straight back down. I will bubble off, and then I'll push them in, and my team will kind of push in, and it will kind of get crisscrossed. So you're pushing them from here. Here's the enemy. Here's your team. Shoot, shoot. You get the point. But that is a nice little trapy spot that you can kind of set yourself up in to just jump through.
Sorry to interrupt, but can you see from that spot if when and if somebody's parting?
Unfortunately, not really. But a lot of the time that you should be able to rely on your team. At the end of the day, all of you guys, like, think about it, there's 5 people on the team, for example. So that means there are 5 voice boxes. That means there's 10 eyes. And 5 brains. A team is a team. Like they say, there's no I in team. You are 5 people. You need to work together and help each other in as many ways as possible. So if you see your Winston set up here and you can see them crossing, you can say, okay, they're crossing over, you can go. Or you can say, they're crossing. Or as I like, because comp player, ping. Just ping them. So it's a literal live tracker. It is a literal live tracker. But just as simple as allowing your Winston to be in a safer position so they can jump in more effectively. Just because you say pinging Anna on main, boom, easy fight. One thing for you, Peak, if your armor's gone, run away. You know how armor works. You're a Masters player. You understand all that jazz.
Yeah.
The moment that your armor's gone, especially on characters like Winston, where you don't really have a lot of, like, you've used your bubble here, you don't have a lot of ability that's gonna keep you alive. Like for Quinn, you have your shout. With characters like Bull, you've got adaptive shield. Reinhardt, you've got a shield that you have always got access to and has a lot of health. With Winston, it's bubble, which is gone in your scenario here. And you cannot make an engage if you don't have shield at the end of the day, because your health bar is dramatically reduced from it.
לא, הוא הביא לי כבר. יש שם אחד בפנים, הוא לא הבין.
Sorry?
רגע, וקניתם 2 לי? I'm sorry. I was unmuted by mistake.
You're all good. I thought you were asking a question. I was just kind of like, what did he say? What did he say? Here, this is just kind of a lost fight. Actually, I could see you guys winning this. It's a 3v2. It's 3v2. I could see you guys trying to challenge this. I think, Brig, your focus is going to be packing and then whipping them away. I think that's... is that RP with you? Because that looks like Ash over there.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that you guys have to make the decision of dying quick or trying to live. You can't really do both. Unless their team is really bad. If I were you guys, I would immediately try and run towards the ship and just try and back away as quick as possible. I know it's a 3v1, or no, 3v2, but if you get traded out, it's much worse for you than it is for them. Like we said, with spawns, with staggering, with everything like that. Let's see what you do. You start crossing away, you start crossing away. Rando, I would like you to kind of stay on the high ground here. Again, just be linked with them. You know, I'm going to use the phrase that I use. just basically become two really big lesbians. Just constantly be with each other. That's how you play Brigana. With allowing them time, what I want you guys to think about is we're still down our Winston. Is it a good idea for us to be challenging them? If it's no, play a little bit safer and come back until your Winston is able to come through. But I got a feeling you're going to be split. The Winston's going to jump you guys, and it's going to go downhill.
Here it comes.
You do reset the high ground, which is nice. A nice spot for you here, Peak, is just sitting up here on the ship. Because your Anna can still see you up there, and you can still throw right clicks at this Genji. Just kind of telling him, can you, like, Genji, can you just fuck off? Go away. Just be like, go away. Go away. Can I ask what the reasoning is? I'm just a little bit confused on kind of why you've put bubble here. Is this to help your team cross?
Might have just been fat finger or something.
Okay. Because
It's a wasted bubble, I know.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, because I've had a Winston player that I've coached who has been like, oh, I put it down to help my team cross. You have a brig. You need bubble to go. Let your brig be the shield for your backline. That is not your job. But I was just making sure. So yeah, your bubble's down, so you gotta be like, okay, I have no bubble, we can't go. You lose RP, it's unfortunate. Again, just make sure that you can kind of think about, okay, these two they're gonna need time to like move. One thing that you can do for them, Peak, is actually help them. You can help them just walk here. You don't need to constantly be reaching for the back line or constantly jumping to something important. You can just be like on Rialto, for example. You do just help your team get a better position and then jump on something. Because what you're doing right now is what we call reaching. Because this is where your Rash is going to be. Your Brig and Anna are still like rotating around to a position where they can help you. And you've reached all the way over here. You've kind of reached away from your team. You'll notice you'll feel quite singled out in the fight. Oh, never mind, you're down on the bridge. That's good.
I am pretty sure I also jumped only to kind of help my monkey and just kind of follow him.
Yeah.
Usually I don't want to be up there since the enemy is pushed a little bit too far. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to see anything, especially if I push forward. My Anna's not gonna be able to see me.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind you guys
This-
playing here. Sorry.
This
go
was
ahead.
also the moment of like when we were like there and Becca was like asking if I could like nade the room where Anna and Brick was, and I was like, yeah, I'll look for a nade. And 3, 2, 1, and then I like hit the fucking ship with the nade.
You
He still went.
Hold on. I'm gonna soul read this. I'm gonna soul read this. I'm gonna go from your POV. I want to see how accurate I can.
I have you. Keep fighting.
I reckon it's gonna hit right there. Everyone keep that in mind. Let's make a little game out of this. Let's see.
Wait, no, it was before.
Holy! Oh, you've already thrown the nade. I'm actually like
Yeah,
uber poo. Not paying attention.
here I think.
Oh, I was so far off. Guys, is that negative aura? Be honest. Is that negative aura?
For me, yes.
Damn it! I meant for me.
For you,
I guess.
yes.
Unfortunate. I do see the vision here. The one thing you guys, especially you, Peak here, and for you guys to also realize is, you can't like throwing that nade into that room is okay. For your monkey. Who else is really gonna benefit from that? It would be a lot better if you kind of let them walk out a little bit, then nade them there. Because you are letting them have a doorway and a corner to hide from the nade. Where if they're out here, they either have to give up high ground and then have to humiliate themselves by walking up and around, or get hit by the nade and get jumped on by these two. Where if Peak here goes to fight in the room, Haga can't really help at the end of the day. He can throw dynamite and try and shoot, but he's not active in the fight. I'm gonna go from. I wanna see how backline does here. I'm not as worried about.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay. Don't mind this. Monkeys jump back. Your Ash is fucked at the end of the day. Not much you can do. What have we bobbed? I just want to kind of see what we bobbed.
I wanted to bob them in the room with the monkey, but I didn't expect him to kind of. Or maybe I wanted to bob the. I don't think I wanted to bob the Genji. I'm pretty sure I don't. I think he kind of comes immediately after, because the idea was that we're gonna nade the room, the monkey is gonna go in, and I wanted to bob inside the room.
Yeah.
But I think I missed it.
I think I like the idea. I feel like it's not the best for your Bob. I would have preferred you save your Bob for point. Purely because if Bob goes into that room, okay, cool. They're gonna sleep him, and they're just gonna walk away. And your Bob's gonna kind of sit in there and just be sad and like munch on like a brick wall or something. Like you can say the same with the Bob on Carter here, for example. Like if you put Bob like here, like if you just stuck into the wall here, yes, they can hide, but it also means they cannot swing out at all, and they can't heal the Winston, and it means Tracer has to either bug off somewhere else or retreat backwards. Rather than like if we watch, like I think we could. Can we? I was gonna say I want to watch the Bob. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Ah, I am so sad for you. I feel bad.
It's fine. In hindsight, yes, it would have been better to bob the point, but.
No, but that's the whole point of this is I can help you. Is your coach still here? I was gonna say I've seen him.
No, he left.
Oh, well. But that's just kind of the thing that I can help you guys with. Is just kind of think about, okay, kind of Bob, this is better here, controls the open, separates these two away, blah 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 blah, boring stuff. I want to go back to your backline, because I really want to help your backline the most. Rally here, I feel like it's perfectly fine. It's scary, 100%. I feel like I don't want you to get in a habit of rallying every primal though, is the thing. It's very scary. But if you're dumping both support ults consistently in every like fight, your backline's going to struggle a lot, and they're not going to have a lot of survivability. I would kind of have a thing of always at least have one of these up if possible, because now they have nano for a lot of other shit. I mean, well, you have no rally to sustain from anything, you have no Bob to sustain, and you're nanoed into you've nanoed your monkey. I feel like the way that you could have played this, in my opinion, is your monkey jumps back, you then rally, push this monkey away, force the primal, kind of keep him at bay. Once his primal runs out, then you get your then you nano your monkey and try and go force their support ults. So instead of trading rally, Bob, and nano for just the primal, if they like just kind of hold themselves even, you then use all the same ults and could potentially get 3 of theirs as well, and unironically at a higher value, because I feel like primal is a bit more important than Bob, but that's just me. I think that takes time. I think you get used to playing against the monkey. Unlucky. I feel like the only thing you could have done there is just been like, oh shit, my Ana can't help me. Just try and run away. That's the only thing though. We've already been over that, so there's no point kind of reinstating the same thing over and over again. We don't forget the card this time. Nice. Your Brig needs to reunite with your Ana here, and now you can kind of push a bit more forward, having a bit more sustainability. You place bubble. One thing that you can do here, especially you peak, trust your team just to kind of play in a safer spot, and you swing onto point and put your bubble there. So you can at least like stall cart for as long as possible without losing an insane amount of health, because at the end of the day, your health is a resource. So the one thing that you can do is just kind of be like, I'm going to plonk myself on cart, I'm going to bubble, and I'm going to shoot what I can and force away what I can. Because we're on Brig and Ashe, they should be able to kind of fend off a monkey if they just play it a bit defensively, hide around, and don't fight in the bubble. Okay.
60 seconds.
Blade comes through, you get unfortunately. Oh my god, they've not counted. The blade. You didn't have anything to kind of counteract it, you already talked about that, it's fine. Unfortunately, you do stagger yourself here, Peak. For like the moment that you kind of down most of your team, you can just be like, yeah, no, just jump in, die as quick as possible. So you don't actually just self-stagger. Because this is a good example, because look at your team. Healthy, 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 dead, healthy. And you can see the count.
Sorry.
Bless you. But you can kind of see they can see the difference of now, oh, your team's going to walk out, but they're going to have to wait the 12 seconds to like 10 for you to respawn, and for you to actually kind of walk out of spawn and get in position. Also, sorry if I'm boring people, I like to go into depth with most of the fights. I do just love the chat at Overwatch.
All good.
It's going to be a long ass video for YouTube. Nice. Dynamite and Winston early here, I love. Holy... Yo... How much CC on the Winston? That is sleep, whip, and nade, as well as dynamite. Yo, this Winston is like... He's having a rough time. He's having a rough time. I feel like if I want to watch that back from my sports perspectives and individually kind of talk about what we could have done differently. So... We see, okay, cool, Winston kind of missed. I like how you've gone for the sleep and that's fine. If, an example, Winston's able to jump up here, I would love to see Sleep go first. I would then love to see my Brig go around and try and whip him towards my team, and then you throw the anti, and then just, when he's going to wake up from the whip, you get everyone who's around to come, and you go 3, 2, 1, and everyone does as much damage as physically possible, so he just absolutely explodes. This is a very common trick that people will use on Traces, for example. I'm sure you guys have played comp and you've like slept someone, and someone will come over and you're like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and then you'll do a bunch of burst damage, just trying to kill them as quick as possible.
I have a counter argument against that plan. If I go, me as a Brick, I'd have to be out in the open on the bridge. So against the team with the right set of eyes, vocal cords, and brains, I'm gonna be fucked with a capital fuck.
Well, let's look at their positioning compared to ours. Like obviously, this is a travesty. This is
The perspective kind of threw me off. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. It's,
really sorry to interrupt, but I have to go and do something. But I watch the rest of the VOD through the YouTube thing.
There's no problem at all, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Goodbye.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
But this is quite like, you can talk about cart language. Like if cart was here, I'd say 100% don't do it. It's kind of just come around the corner, and what you gotta think about is at their comp, there are only like 2 people who can reach you, and neither of them can one-shot you at the same time. Like if you're against a Widow or a Hanzo or something, I'd be like, okay, you can play a little safer. But for like Genji, dash right click's not going to kill you because you have armor. Winston's actively going to be asleep. And also at the end of the day, you have your own armor and you also have your shield, which is always a useful tool. But this is just kind of, I want to get you guys the idea of like burning targets in unison because then it just keeps you on the same target.
Yeah, fair enough. That was my bad.
Beautiful, like, no, but like, good execution of just being like, monkey, just fuck off. Just go away. We don't want you here. Really good execution of it all. Ouch. Absolutely. But you now kind of realise, okay, I'm down my tracer. Let's back up and look for a position that we can use. This is not what I had in mind. Really good nade though. Holy Kobe. Now all you gotta do is just play in a position where your team can see you peek and you'll be fine. Supports, I do love that you're just sat up here. This is perfect. You can see a lot of the open sight lines. And you can see if anyone's trying to cross from this kind of the side over here. I'm assuming Haga's going to now rotate up and try and sit with you guys. And then your RP will kind of either rotate around here or will contest this side over here. So then there are less angles to like get jumped on. This is completely fine. I love how confident you are peeking these like tank doors and that. I do love it. Nano Monkey. Now, this is a good Nano Monkey because you nanoed when you're able to actually reach things that are vulnerable. So you can see here, they're very close. I'm able to be nanoed, my supports can see me, and I can still reach things, and my team is backed up because they're all safe on a high ground. Boom, perfect. Unfortunately, you sleep. And you just run away.
60 seconds.
Brilliant. Supports. This is like the only time that I'm kind of like, huh? Okay, we'd backed into here. That's fine. Not much you can do there.
I need to reload.
Yeah. Okay. Holy Sophie, that was risky. That nade almost came flying back at you guys.
Muhehehe.
Oh my god.
I need to reload.
Watch this.
Helping you out.
That was very close. But you see, okay, I love how this is like the instant reaction.
Taking care of you.
In this scenario, kind of, this is like a universal thing. If they have just been like nanoed, and they are like having a nice little nap, let's refrain from waking him up. Because what you gotta think about is that sleep is going to tick down this. And if you leave it long enough, you can burn, I think it's about 70% of nano, if done correctly. Especially with the time to jump, when the nano gets hit, when the sleep goes off, all that. But just leave him awake.
Was the monkey already nanoed when he got slept?
Most Annas most monkeys will call for the nano while they're in the sky. So I'll go back to the arch thing I was talking about. So here's the arch of it. I'll use blue as the nano. Monkeys will technically kind of hit here, which is actually quite bad. You should actually ask it at the arch, but this is kind of the zone they'll naturally get hit by. But then that's just kind of, they'll get nanoed, and then they'll hit the floor, and then they'll get like slept or some shit and die.
That wasn't my question. My question was the monkey already nanoed when he was slept in that situation?
I believe so. No, never mind. I thought he was already nanoed. Why wasn't he nanoed?
Those were both panic buttons, stacked ults.
Yeah. Again, they've just kind of got stacked ults, and even then, I wouldn't have. I would suggest avoid waking him anyway, because that's kind of that's taking someone out, and it means they can't use primal, and if they want to nano something, they can't nano the Winston because he's not in LOS and he's not reachable.
Yeah, bad decision from me. Oh well.
I'm gonna see how you guys. All right then.
No, you're not.
Thank you, Blizzard. What? Oh my god.
Well, it's a patch day, so
Yeah, that's true.